Meta is not withdrawing from the metaverse, though it is clearly retreating from the original assumption that immersive virtual environments would scale quickly enough to justify the level of capital it deployed, which is forcing a shift toward lower friction interfaces, slower timelines, and more commercially defensible distribution models. What is being interpreted externally as a loss of conviction is more accurately a reduction in visibility, as Meta continues to absorb multi-billion-dollar losses through Reality Labs, while repositioning the initiative within a longer-term strategic horizon where immediate returns are no longer required to justify continued investment. The failure, if it can be described as such, sits not in the technology itself, but in the assumption that users would adopt new hardware, new behaviours and new environments simultaneously and at speed, which proved unrealistic once the friction of immersion and the absence of compelling social utility became clear. As a result, the strategy is shifting away from highly visible, immersive environments and toward lower friction interfaces such as mobile experiences, wearables, and AI-driven interaction layers, where adoption can occur without requiring users to fundamentally change how they behave. This does not represent a change in objective, which remains control of user interaction, though it does represent a change in delivery, moving from spectacle toward infrastructure and from destination toward integration. The metaverse is no longer being built as a place users go, but as a layer that becomes embedded within the systems they already use, which improves its commercial viability while simultaneously increasing the complexity of its risk profile. As interfaces move closer to users, data capture becomes more continuous, privacy exposure expands, and regulatory pressure intensifies, creating a different kind of cost that sits alongside the capital already deployed. This is not a retreat. It is a recalibration, where ambition is being reshaped by economic reality, and where the long-term strategy remains intact, even as the path toward it becomes quieter, slower, and more structurally grounded. And that shift, from visible platform to underlying system, will ultimately determine whether the metaverse emerges as a product in its own right, or becomes part of the invisible infrastructure through which digital interaction is delivered.